Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Today, we're going to be talking all about Pokemon Pokopia. Because a lot of previews that have gone out, and they all seem relatively positive. Midbye Senpai here says, OMG, finally. Finally. What is going on, my friend? Good to see you. Welcome on in, everybody. I see Hay is here saying hi. Welcome, welcome. And anybody else just just hanging out. Mid-Fi says, I'm getting ready to pull my 401k waiting for this. Here we go. Here we go. I love it. I love it. Well, we got some fun stuff to talk about tonight. And oh, Joey Pitt's coming in with the breaking news. You guys ready? To unlock Diddy Kong in Mario Tennis Fever, you just have to play 10 matches. Oh, there you go. There you go. Only Only 10 matches that you'll have to play that don't include Diddy. That's a good thing, Joey. That's a really good thing. Well, we are gonna jump right into this. I wanna remind you guys that speaking of Mario Tennis, we're gonna be, doing some Mario Tennis for my birthday stream on Sunday, so come hang out for that if you want to jump into some matches or just see what the game's all about. I see Brandon is here, finally making a live. Let's go. Let's go. Um, Hay says, I believe you support the Seahawks, so well done in the Super Bowl, biggest sports event in the world. There you go. That's right. Oh, Midfi Senpai says birthdays go up that high. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Well, let's talk some Pokopia. And I grabbed a bunch of articles, you guys. So first up, we've got Eurogamer here, and it says an hour with Pokopia suggests it might be the best Pokemon spinoff ever, and it's more Viva Pinata than Minecraft or Animal Crossing. And it says, how do you get a transforming pocket monster into a promising looking genre mix? Let's see. Let's see. Tazu says, glad I'm here early enough not to miss anything. Nope, you did not miss anything. Cryptic says, can Pokopia do what AC don't and give us the Pokemon Adult Islands? Here we go. Joey said, side note, I know you want to talk about Pokopia, but the Sony Presents is tomorrow. Should us Nintendo fans be interested in that? So let's let's put a quick pin in Pokopia and talk about this. I saw a post here. Let's open this up. Let's open this up on My Nintendo News. It says Nate the Hate heard rumored 2D God of War could be multi-platform release. So, very short article for My Nintendo News. It says informed leaker Nate the Hate is back with another nugget of information. He has heard from his sources. It's been long rumored that a 2D God of War Metroidvania game is in the works, and Nate says that he has heard that it could be a multi-platform release. We've already had Lego Horizons Adventures appear on the Nintendo Switch, and it seems as though Sony could potentially be potentially eyeing the platform for this new project. Nate's quote says, all I can say is this. When talk of the 2D God of War first started last year, I heard whispers that it was being considered for a multi-platform release. Whether that consideration evolved into an active plan, I don't know. So, interesting stuff there. I see a handful of subs over on Twitch. Thank you, Steak. Thank you, Rust Belt. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh let's see. So maybe there's something happening over on um over on the PlayStation side of coming to Nintendo. We'll just have to wait and see. It's like all exciting stuff as far as I'm concerned. A Metroidvania with Kratos, sign me up right now. Like sign me up. I would be I would be all about it. I think it would be a lot of fun. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, there's that rumor floating around there, thanks to Nate the Hate. So see if anything comes of it. Let's see here. Um Brandon says God of War 2 HD coming to Switch 2, hopefully. Here we go. Like the sound of that. Brandon also says, I heard Nintendo Life say a bunch of stuff that made me effing excited for it now. Speaking of Pokopia. So yeah, there's a lot of information there. Steak said also have RGT hearing about it from someone who knows before this broke. Oh, interesting. So there you go. There you go. There's we may be seeing this may be coming to fruition, and we might find out about it tomorrow, which would be fantastic. So let's jump back into to Pokopia here. So first up, like I said, I've got Eurogamer, and I kind of want to just I was hoping they kind of do a little like some of these articles, they just basically put everything at the bottom, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what I can just get the little synopsis here, but I will say that these the majority of these reviews seem very positive, so that's good. So taking a look here at the Eurogamer article, it says, as someone who absolutely adores Viva Pinata, I actually feel like a bit of an idiot for not clocking the similarity sooner. In hindsight, the extended trailer for Pokopia makes it more obvious, but it was only sitting down and playing around an hour of the game that it really clicked. It's it's in-game flow that the two are most similar. In Pokopia, Pokemon aren't caught in Pokeballs and carried around with you, and nor should they be, given you play a Ditto that has haphazardly attempted to transform into his former owner. Instead, it's all about the habitat and the area around you. Each Pokemon in Pokopia Pokedex will be attracted to appear if certain conditions are met. And so it's interesting hearing Viva Pinata brought up. It is a Xbox 360 game. There are two of them, but there was also a Viva Pinata on DS. The Everybody that I know that played Viva Pinata also played Animal Crossing, but they were not the same. They were not the same at all. And so, but hit the same fan base, I would say. Very, very much hit the same fan base, and were very well liked. And so, hearing this, that it's a little less Minecraft, a little less Animal Crossing, it feels like it leaves plenty of room, and just becomes another addition to the cozy game library, uh, which is really good. So, um, let's see. Steak said loved outside extra explaining Ditto doing stuff as vomiting the materials out. Oh, interesting. Huh. That is interesting. Oh, quick side note from Cryptic here said Final Fantasy VII Part 3 is rumored to be multiplat as well if it's shown. Yeah, there's a chance. There is a chance. So yeah, I love the fact that Eurogamer here is saying, "Hey, this game is a lot more like Viva Pinata." And I know that may be a game that we're pretty far removed from Viva Pinata, so there's going to be a lot of people that may not even know what that is. But it was solid on DS. It was solid on Xbox. They made two on 360, like I said, because they were pretty well received. I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Viva Pinata was from Rare, and so uh, that it had a bit of that Rare charm for sure. So so yeah, Cryptic's asking the question. So it's more a farm sim managing Pokemon in their habitat. I think that's more accurate. I think that is more accurate. So it yeah. It honestly has me a bit more excited knowing that it's like it's less about like probably the decorating and more about trying to meet those certain conditions to get certain Pokemon to show up. So and Steak said, yeah, Prime talked about Viva Pinata was a rare game. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Joey letting me know too. So perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I thought it was. Like there was kind of that magical time in the 360 where Rare was like they were kind of releasing a ton of stuff with Perfect Dark, Cameo, and Viva Pinata. So there was quite a bit there. So good stuff all around. But that's good. I love hearing this from Eurogamer. So Polygon says Pokemon's Animal Crossing clone has so much more going on under the surface. Pokemon Pokopia is as much a puzzle game as it is a life sim. Their article reads the Pokemon series is once again about to evolve after embracing open world design and experimenting with real time combat. The Pokemon Company's next creative swing is reimagining its monster collecting series as a cozy life sim. Launching March 5th for Nintendo Switch 2, Pokemon Pokopia seems poised to capitalize on Animal Crossing New Horizons' breakout success in 2020 by copying some of its notes. It's a flattering transformation fit for a Ditto, but early trailers have yet to make it clear if Pokopia is much more than a convincing copycat. And so I'll kind of just skim the article here. It says uh, I'm I'm quickly taught some mechanics that will be familiar to Animal Crossing players. I gather materials like stones and sticks and take them to a crafting bench where I can create furniture that I can toss anywhere on the ground. There are daily challenges that I can compete to get currency and buy more items and crafting recipes, not unlike New Horizons Nook Miles. Even my backpack UI looks suspiciously similar to one in Animal Crossing. The similarities stop there. Pokemon Pokopia is much more of a puzzle game as it is a life sim. The early hook is that to discover new Pokemon, I need to create the right environment for them. The first Pokemon I meet is a Squirtle laying on the ground, dehydrated. I use my Ditto powers to copy the Squirtle's water gun attack and then use it on the Squirtle to revive him. Squirtle teaches me how to use water gun on dried out grass, creating the tall grass habitat which Bulbasaur can appear in. Bulbasaur teaches me leafage, which I can use to create more grass, which I can then pair with a water gun to create even more tall grass, where Charmander can appear. And so I kind of like digging even deeper into this. I'm getting more excited because the fact that it's like a puzzle game and it sounds like as you learn different moves, you're then going to be able to manipulate the environment in different ways. And so I have a feeling at first there's going to be a lot of surprises with like, okay, let me do this, and oh, boom, there's this Pokemon that shows up. And I think that's a great gameplay loop. Honestly, I think it's fantastic. So I see Sunshine is here. Welcome on in. Good to see you. And so like, I'm loving the fact that Article 1 was like, "Yo, it's a lot like Viva Pinata." Article 2 is like, "Yo, this is more like a puzzle game." Um, this is just great, and I mean, it, uh, it continues. Nintendo Life has, like, 3 different articles on this game from the preview event they went to, so, um My Nintendo News states Pokemon Pokopia takes 20 to 40 hours to beat, and more content after credits. So more information has emerged regarding the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 game, Pokemon Pokopia, which launches next month. Speaking in a new interview, uh, Takuto Edagawa, the chief director of Pokemon Pokopia, said fans should expect to clear the game in roughly 20 to 40 hours on average. And that's not all, as after the credits roll, there's more content to indulge yourself in. So far, so for this game, the main motivation for this game is typically not to go to the end roll, the credits. The whole concept is to create the world with Pokemon and live with the Pokemon. However, as an average, it should be 20 to 40 hours, but it would depend on how the players play the game. There's more things to experience after the end credits, so it depends on what you mean. On what you mean by contents, but I believe that players are encouraged to and will be motivated to continue to play the game. And so, I mean, it's Pokemon, right? So I don't know if you guys are like me, but I'm thinking right away, wait a minute, I roll credits and then I still got to continue filling that Pokedex because I have a feeling that's still going to be a thing, right? You want to try to get uh, each, each Pokemon to show up with how whatever means necessary. So Joey wants to know, how do I manipulate it so Misty shows up? Cryptic says Pokemon has been theming their recent games about rebuilding an ecosystem with Arceus and even with ZA was a prequel of the history of Luminous. So, I mean, there's definitely that. There is definitely that. So Sunshine says sounds fun for people waiting for the next Pokemon game. Yeah, it's kind of it's getting into those that life sim slash we mentioned Viva Pinata. Obviously, it's coming at us the teams behind the Dragon Quest builders, and so I think it's kind of like maybe cherry picking a bunch of the best aspects from a handful of these cozy sim games, and I think that's fantastic. So, Roy Rocks 3000 says, "I want to see Lugia flying around." That sounds pretty great. That sounds awesome. So, taking a look at I Byzantium says ZA was literally post X and Y, but okay. Oh wait, maybe just the so Arceus was the prequel for sure on that one. So um this is what the whole reason for the show tonight is this article right here from Nintendo Life. It says preview, despite low expectations, Pokemon Pokopia had me grinning from ear to ear. And I loved this, so I was like, okay, we're gonna dig into a handful of these previews. The article says there was a moment quite early into my time with Pokemon Pokopia where I sat back, exhaled, and said, "Oh dear, it's got me." I love that. See, I've not been too hot on Pokemon games for a while now, and the initial trailers of Pokopia suggested that this probably wouldn't be changing anytime soon. After spending 90 minutes with both single player and multiplayer components at Nintendo of Europe's Frankfurt offices, however, I am convinced Pokopia, which has a Koei Temco's Omega Force of Warriors fame heading up development, is going to absolutely gobble up my time. Not only that, but if it's supported by a steady stream of post launch content, maybe some cool crossover items or events with other Nintendo properties, it has the potential to be huge. I could tell you that Pokopia is basically Animal Crossing with Pokemon, but that wouldn't be entirely accurate. The vibes are are there at least. The music, the dialogue, the adorable animations, it's very Animal Crossing in its presentation, but in terms of gameplay, you're looking at a blend of Dragon Quest Builders, which we talked about, and bizarrely Viva Pinata, an underrated gem if there ever was one. And yes, a sprinkling of Animal Crossing too. Um, you start off by creating your character, a Ditto taking on the loose form of a human, which we've talked about, and then they go on to just kind of describing similar to what the other article did about like Bulbasaur and or finding the Squirtle and then Bulbasaur and Charmander, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like I just am more and more excited about this since this information dropped. Because the game was showing kinda strange, right? It was like, okay, it's everybody was saying, "Oh, it's Pokemon Animal Crossing," but it really isn't that. It's got elements of it, but it's not that. So, Steak says, "Ditto Link." Here we go. I like it. Um, Byzantium says, "Where's the Nintendo preview event for N64 Josh, though?" Oh, it's a good question. It's a good question. I am on the list for Mario Tennis Fever, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully. Rust Belt Kid said, "Is that the new Pokemon?" It is. It really is. Cryptic says, "I hope Pokemon Day we get 20 minutes of information because I think there is a multiplayer as well." Yeah, it just stated that there was single player and multiplayer. Um, and are you doing quests? Is there a story? That is a great question. I see Wes is here. What's going on? Good to see you. But I think overall, there's just so much good coming out of this event. Now, I don't even know if I it seems to me the majority of the outlets covering this are in Europe. So I'm not quite sure if they even had one happening over here in the States. I know I know there was an event recently, but I don't know if Pokopia was there. There was something happening, I believe, in New York, and you had Capcom was there and Pragmata and Resident Evil, but I'm not sure Pokopia was there. And so this seems like a separate event. And what's interesting, you don't see this a lot, but Pokemon Pokopia launches on the 5th of March. Travel and accommodation for this preview were provided by Nintendo. So that that's something that's pretty cool there for sure. So I think I want to say IGN had some coverage, but of course, I mean they're located everywhere. So Steak says Pokemon Gen 1 coming to Switch on Pokemon Day. And that's I mean, a lot of people have been talking about that too, right? And I've been seeing some different polls on different websites, people asking like, you know, would you want to see this? I think I want to say like from some of the known leakers, them even confirming it would not be on NSO, but will be standalone. And the way they were making it sound is it may be 2 separate games. It may be that we are going to, potentially have to purchase a pack with the OG game. Now, is it remade? Is it just kind of a port? How are they gonna do it? I'm not quite sure yet. So, uh, let's see, Rust Belt. Rust Belt says if that's the case, I might actually play a Pokemon game for once. Do it. Steak said Roger Base said in his predictions video for Pokemon Presents that he went to a preview event and played Pokopia. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I I think the majority. I'm not sure where I wanna say at least 2 of the articles I pulled were from across the pond, so, I mean, and a lot of times they'll do these events. I just happened to see from the bottom of this article that this one was taking place, um, uh, or let's see, I think they mentioned where they were playing up earlier in the article, so, uh, that's what made me wonder a bit. Taking a look at chat here, Cryptic said, "Wait, did I hear that right? You said March for Pokopia?" Yeah, March 5th. Queen Riven Bell says, "Can we get Gen 3 too?" Let's see. Cryptic says, "That's in a few weeks." Yes. Yes. And Steak says, "Please HD 2D remakes." And Joey says $45 each. So I would like I'm hoping they do something that is very for the fans and not for the bank account. You know what I mean? Like I hope they do something that really gets people excited and that really feels like a bit of a love letter to the people that have been with this brand for the 30 years. So, you know, it's we'll have to wait and see, but like if they come out with like, you know, $50 for basically a Game Boy game and there's not a lot of changes, like that'd be rough. That would be that would be rough. So, I'm hoping there's quite a bit more to it and that everybody will be excited about it. I'm really hopeful. So, taking a look at a few more Nintendo Life articles, they really kind of dug into this game. They say Pokemon Pokopia promises a chunky main story with more things to experience after the credits, which we already discussed in the from the My Nintendo News article. And then lastly here, they say Pokemon Pokopia's roots go back further than you think. And so taking a look at the article, it says Omari's first work on the series came in early 2000s when he was tasked with designing maps for the flagship Gen 3 titles. When I was creating the map, which was 2D at the time, I was putting grass onto where Pokemon would appear. He told VGC that feeling of Pokemon appearing when I was creating the habitat was very interesting to me, and that feeling is something I cherish. You can now have such a feeling. Um, you can see how such a feeling went on to inform Pokopia. This is on a basic level a game all about making habitats and watching Pokemon uh rock up to make the most of them. Later in VGC discussion, Omari brought up a Ruby and Sapphire secret base buildings as a personal favorite non-battling series mechanic. I would like to scale the Pokemon games in general, aside from battling. I will seek new possibilities to scale them. It's a game inspired by the joys of that early game development. How sweet is that? And I think I think that's so fascinating that as they're developing this game, they're just looking at the creation going into it and then saying, "Wait, that was actually kind of fun." Like, there was there was fun to be had just by adding grass and watching Pokemon appear. And now, here we are with Pokopia and getting to experience that ourselves. I think what I'm looking forward to the most is just the surprise of trying to figure it out. And some of it's gonna be like, well, okay, it's probably gonna be a bit obvious. You make grass and Bulbasaur shows up and, you know, some of it aren't quite as obvious though. Taller grass, that means Charmander. Okay, well, I wasn't necessarily expecting that one. So just seeing what shows up where and then how everybody's going to play this game, how the conversations are gonna go around it. And and I do wonder how well received it's going to be, knowing that it is a game key card. Like a lot of the comments I'm seeing on this game are like, game key card equals no buy, and I see that kind of stuff often. So, uh, it I am curious on it, but I mean, we heard a ton of conversation around Pokemon Legends ZA and how it was going to be boycotted, and it's almost 12.5 million sales between the Switch and Switch 2. So, I like, this thing's probably gonna fly off the shelves. Brandon said earlier once he saw some of these previews, he pre-ordered, and if you pre-order, I believe it is from the Poke Center, I think that's what it's called, or, um, from Pokemon themselves, you get a Ditto plushie with your copy of the game. I believe that's the case, and then Amazon, you get a potted plant, but I've had some people let me know that the potted plant is something you can unlock if you didn't pre-order from Amazon, so it's not like it's, totally necessary to to pre-order it from them, unless you just want that item early. So, Brandon says, "Yes, Pokemon Center, but dang game key card though." Yeah, it is. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I mean, I'm I'm really I've said it a few times, but I'm very much looking forward to this one. Uh, we've got what, 3 more hours till Ace, or I almost said Aces, till Fever comes out. So we got Mario Tennis, like just so much to play. Pokopia is gonna probably take up so much time. It does run on in real time, essentially, very similar to Animal Crossing, so it's not like Stardew, which you have like the whole day night cycle happening within X amount of hours or whatever. So uh so it's gonna I'm curious on, how does that affect gameplay? What does the middle of the night look like? What's happening there? Is that gonna be like, is late night gonna be for some of your ghost type Pokemon, that kind of thing, assuming that they're there. And and we've seen, like, if we look at this Snorlax, right? And it's a variant essentially. And we've seen a number of different variants. Like I think there was a Pikachu and some others. But what if this is just a tease for what's to come? What if there's more? And I am curious on how many like new Pokemon will be in this game. So Joey says I got my Fever pre-order through Amazon. Hopefully it arrives tomorrow. Hopefully it does. And Brandon says Mew better be in the game. That'd be great too. That would be great. I'm so curious on on all the different Pokemon. And I think there are still some questions to this game. Like Cryptic was saying, like, what is the multiplayer exactly? How does all this stuff play out? And I'm excited to learn more. There are a number of videos out there, you guys, if you want to be able to dig deeper into this, and maybe some of those questions are answered But overall, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm stoked for this one. So I Steak says game key card, a full physical. I don't really care too much if it's a game I want to get, but I would prefer full physical. Bethesda Xbox, why no physical for Fallout 4? I love that Indiana Jones is full physical. Yeah, there's like some are, some aren't. Square said that, Final Fantasy needed to run like needed to be downloaded so that it could run better, but then you've got something like Indiana Jones running, which that's got to be that's gotta be quite the feat, but you can run it on the card, so were they being honest? Hard to say, hard to say. So, appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out. We will be back tomorrow for another episode of the Nintendo Powercast, and as always, you guys, play it loud.